you're watching us from. Welcome back to this channel where we spread love and positivity. And guys, we really appreciate you, the new subscribers, the returning subscribers. You are the real deal. You are the reason we sit here every day and shoot the video. We really appreciate you, and we pray that God blesses you, God enlarges you, God protects you together with your families. Today, guys, I was watching some stuff, actually a video on Dimwago's channel, and I really saw the goodness of the people of Jamaica. Like, there is these two old men that Dimwago approached, and they were ready even to sing a song for her. Sean Marwa also told a guy to sing. He said he's a DJ, and she told him, just sing a song for me. And he started singing and dancing. And these old men, two of them, they started dancing and singing. And I was really seeing the goodness of the people of Jamaica. The other day, we saw Sean Marwa, actually a vehicle stopping to just greet her and tell her that they watch her channel, the mom watches her channel, and it was so courteous, so humble to see the people of Jamaica are willing even to stop, to say hi to a person they don't know, to just open up to a person who is a stranger to them. And I found that for people to be like that, they actually have a history of people who are good, people who had a DNA of helping, people who had a DNA of touching souls, people who have a DNA of sacrificing for others, people who had a DNA of love. Guys, people who had a DNA of peace and fighting for others. And when I was investigating, I wanted to find out, why are the people of Jamaica so willing to help, so willing to touch souls, so willing to talk to people who are actually strangers to them and be ready to help them, be ready to assist them navigate their way? And I was looking at the history of Dimwago. Actually, the time she went to Jamaica for the first time, they really accepted her. They were ready to move with her. They were ready to uplift her. They were ready to support her. And in spite of what the haters have been saying on the streets, they are still willing to go on with her, to help her, to uplift her. Then she brings the friend, Shonarwa. And these people of Jamaica, they want even to assist the friend to Dimwago. They want to pull her up. And we have seen Sean Arwa's channel growing so fast. And I realized these people, they are special people. And I'm not saying it because I am here online. I have actually investigated, where did this goodness come from? Where did this genetics of doing good come from? Where did this humbleness and the willingness to touch the hearts of others, the willingness to love, where did it come from? And I realized that Jamaican people have not just been good this time, or rather this era, they have always been good and very supportive to Africans. And I was investigating, what is the role of Jamaica in some of the things that we see in Africa, like in the fighting for freedom. And I realized that Jamaica was in the forefront to assist some of the African countries to acquire independence. And that actually, those people that were there and were in the front line of the UN organization, so that they can talk on behalf of the African people, they can stand there for the weak people and the oppressed people. I realized that that DNA has been carried along to this generation that is in Jamaica. What am I talking about? Let us look at South Africa. The Jamaican people led by the people who are in the leadership at that time, actually participated a lot in the end of apartheid in South Africa. Did you know that they really pressed the UN, the international governments, to reduce or rather to discourage the foreign trade in South Africa so that the locals can participate in building their country. The locals can participate in business. The locals can participate in the economy of the country. Jamaicans were the first people to discourage foreign trade in South Africa. And this foreign trade, it went reducing until the end of apartheid. So they actually contributed to the independence of South Africa. And I really saluted them. They were there to support our fellow brothers and sisters as they were going through the struggle of apartheid and independence. Let us come to another case, Zimbabwe. And actually I came to learn that the South Africans contributed to the fallout of the illegal white minority. Guys, I don't know what is there. That is what I'm checking. So they really contributed to the fallout of the illegal white minority in Zimbabwe. They contributed to the fallout of the illegal white minority in Zimbabwe. And this contributed to the attainment of independence of the Zimbabwe people. Can you see how courteous these people are? How generous in everything they are. And because they had a platform in UN, they used that platform to talk on behalf of the oppressed, to talk on behalf, you will see, because I'm going to list them. I've talked about the independence of South Africa. I've talked about the independence of Zimbabwe. And they actually played a role in the independence of Zambia. Namibia, not Zambia, Namibia. And they contributed, actually they hired a lawyer to come and be on the front line in the support of Jomo Kenyatta here in Kenya. They actually assisted Jomo Kenyatta when he was caught and taken to prison. They hired a lawyer for him. I can't remember whether that lawyer was Humphrey. But you can see to what extent the Jamaicans were willing to help the African people. They were willing to hold their hands to pull them from the oppression, to put them up there. So those are three countries that these people really actively participated to see that they are free. The other thing that I found about Jamaica, the people who were in the leadership of Jamaica contributed a lot to equality of women, gender equality. We have seen in the African countries, women are really left behind. And even in our nation today, when I look at my country governance starts from the president, and then the cabinet secretaries, then the governors, then we have the senators, then we have the members of parliament, MPs, then we have the women representatives, and then we have the MCA. And we have very few women governors. We have very few women cabinet secretaries. We have very few women members of parliament. We have very few women who are MCAs. The only seat that actually I think the Jamaicans who are fighting for gender equality happened because in the representation of governance in Kenya, we were given one seat that is purely supposed to be for women. The women left in every county. In our country, we have counties instead of parishes. And therefore, for every county, there is that seat that is reserved for women, purely women, to contest for that seat. You can see how far Jamaica came to bring about equality of Because these men who were there before, they have actually passed the baton to other people to fight for gender equality. That is something that I found about Jamaica. Then there was this struggle for environment conservation. And there is this law that was passed, the sea law, that actually tries to cover the wealth of the sea, the marine riches. And it tries to preserve the wealth that is found in the sea, the tourism attraction of the beaches. And Jamaica happens to have very many beaches and very many rivers. And therefore, the sea law was actually a good thing to assist the businesses that take place along the sea and the businesses that take place along the rivers, especially in Jamaica and even here in Kenya. That law also applies to us in the coastal region, Mombasa, and any other country that has the sea or the river. Very, very important law to help the marine riches, the marine wealth. The other thing that I saw these people fought was the imbalances in the economy. Imbalances in the economy. We have the rich countries and we have the developing countries. The developing countries are really left behind in terms of economic wealth and financial status. And Jamaica was in the forefront to fight for balances in the economic, the imbalance in the economic what? Let me call it imbalances between the different countries. And I was looking at it because they were fighting for the African countries to be independent, not to rely on the rich countries, not to depend on the rich countries, not to be purely depending on the rich countries, but to have their own structures in terms of trade, in terms of finances, in terms of the economy, so that they can be independent. And I saw that this was a fight that was actually put by the people of Jamaica in the leadership at that time in the UN level. And one of the meetings was held in Nairobi, Kenya, so that they can talk about distribution of finances so that they can cater for the developing countries. And I want to say that as Jamaica fights for these imbalances, us as Africans, we have also to stand and fight these imbalances by working hard, by joining hands, by cooperating with one another, by loving one another, by working together in unity so that we can uplift our countries. I have seen in most of the African countries that people fight for power, especially political power, so that they can gain wealth for themselves. People fight for the seats not to help the people that are voting them, but to actually grab wealth for themselves and their families. Too bad. If Africans can be selfless, like these people who have been fighting for this imbalance, if we can be selfless, we go to power because we want to help the common man. We go to power because we want to fight the gap between the rich and the poor, which is very wide in most of the African countries. We can attain that because we have enough resources. Like our country, if I look at our country, we have a lot of agricultural potential. We have some oil that I heard it is along the Turkana. Turkana is the eastern part of Kenya. If we can be able to utilize our resources properly, without being greedy, without being selfish, without hating each other, without fighting each other, we can go a long way. And we have been supported by a country that has shown Jamaica, I salute you. You have shown us these things are possible. We can fight and we become independent nation in terms of economy, in terms of finances, in terms of good health, in terms of poverty eradication. And it is possible. So we salute you, the people of Jamaica. The other thing that I saw the Jamaican people really were in the forefront to bring about change was the fight against drugs. And actually we have seen drugs, trafficking and taking of drugs has taken a great deal, a great length in the African countries. There is a lot of drug taking, a lot of alcohol consuming, a lot of bang consumption. And when you enhance the fight against drugs, it really saves a lot of youth from being destroyed, from being dying when they are young. And we can bring about the growth of the nation because the youth are the economy pillars. And when they start taking drugs, when they start going down in terms of their minds, because of the effect of drugs, then we are losing it as a society. And the fight against drugs is not just for one country. I really appreciate Jamaica and the role they have played in the UN to fight against drugs trafficking and drug taking. But I want to ask all of us as Africans to participate in the fight against drugs, because it's not a one-man show. It is all of us to combine effort and fight and actually uplift the lives of our youth and the lives of our people. So I really appreciated the work that these leaders of Jamaica were doing in terms of the poor people, in terms of drug eradication, in terms of environmental conservation, in terms of people becoming free and be able to express themselves freely without fear. Very, very important. So I realized the people of Jamaica have been in the forefront to show love, in the forefront to fight for the common man. And I really realized this has spread even to the generation that is there. They have passed this goodness from one generation to the other until we can see that the people that are there in Jamaica, even the old, they are supporting the youth. By the way, guys, here in our nation, it is very hard to see the old people in social media. But I saw in Jamaica, the old actually are the ones that are supporting the youth in terms of social media, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and so on. Most of the people that watch Dimwango are actually old. They are actually elderly people from 45 and above. If they are ages below 45, they are few. They are not so many. Because it is our parents that are supposed to hold our hands to uplift us to the next level. And social media has become a platform that can employ so many people. And therefore, for these people to stand and support young people, to stand and uplift young people, to stand and fight for them against hatred, against bullying, against oppression, I really salute you. I appreciate you. I am really happy. And that is why I want to investigate. Where has this goodness of Jamaica come from? It comes from the roots. People loved the Africans, even the people who are there before the generation that is there today. They felt belonging to Africa. They felt that the Africans are their brothers and sisters. And they were ready to fight for their oppression. They were ready to fight for their independence. They were ready to make them independent in terms of finances and economy. So, Africans also, we must support each other. We must stand with each other. We must love each other. Stop hatred. Embrace each other so that we can grow our continent to be a continent to be admired, a continent to be eager by other people to come. The other day, I was watching this lady from Nigeria. I've been following her. She's called Kora Abdi. And Kora Abdi is a singer. She's a song composer. She's a dancer. And therefore, most of her shows are done in US. She's based in US. But she travels to perform in different countries. And therefore, the other day she was in UK. And while she was in the residence where she was staying, she was attacked by a woman. And she poured to her acid and almost, she had a knife to actually almost attempt to kill her. And according to her, she was saying that the woman was black. And I was asking myself, how far can we go in hating each other? How far can we go in destroying each other? This is someone you don't know. Why do you hate a person you don't know to an extent of waiting for her along the stairs to pour acid on her and actually knife her and kill her? Why are we so competitive of each other? Why do we hate each other? Why don't we embrace each other? Why don't we bring about love? Because love conquers all. Africans, if you're watching me there and you're an African, let us love one another. Let us embrace one another. Let us support one another. You will lose nothing by supporting your brother. You will lose nothing by embracing your brother. You will lose nothing by loving your brother or your sister. And you will go a long way in growing economically, financially, socially. Because unity is power. And when there is unity, God commands his blessings there. Let us embrace one another. I've never seen the rich countries fighting against each other, talking against each other. Let us love one another and we grow each other so that we can make our continent great, a continent to be admired, a continent to be visited. And that will take us a long way. Guys, I'll stop at that. And I want to say once again, thank you so much for following us, subscribing to our channel, commenting and liking, and continue sharing our videos to your friends, to your families. Road to 5,000 subscribers. Please help us to go there. See you.